What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the video you guys have all been waiting for. Today we're going to be doing week 1 predictions for the 2016 through 2017 NFL season. Now, if you guys are new to my season predictions, this is how I'm going to do it. In later weeks when there are games to review, I'm going to be reviewing those games pretty short and sweet. I'm not going to do it into detail. Then for the week that I'm going over, I'm going to be doing straight up picks. I'm going to be doing score predictions, and I'm going to be doing against the spread picks. So I will be keeping track of all those picks, minus the predicting the score. That's just something I like to share with you guys, something, and then try to see if I get it right. I got it right 2 games in 2 years. I got prediction right. I got a game prediction right, so yeah. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to be going over upset picks and lock picks. I have to have at least one upset pick, and then I have to have at least 3 lock picks. And I will be keeping a record throughout the year that you guys can check out along with my against the spread and straight up picks. So I'm going to be keeping track of 4 respectable records. So, and that's straight up picks, against the spread, upsets, and locks. So that's something you guys should watch for. I'm going to be keeping all of that in the description if you guys want to check it out. On top of that, I will be linking prognosticators that I really enjoy watching and prognosticators that you guys should check out. A lot of people are just like me. We predict the against the spread, straight up, all that, and great content coming from the other prognosticators. So I will link them in the description as much as I can, the people I watch. So let's get on to these predictions. Thursday Night Football, Super Bowl 50 rematch, which is, not going to be as great as a game as everybody is going to expect it to be. Panthers at the Broncos. I don't think this is going to be it's not going to have a huge storyline to it. Trevor Siemian is starting at quarterback. It's not like they didn't have quarterback troubles to begin with, but this is Trevor Siemian we're talking about. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure it's gonna be an exciting game to watch. I might be wrong, but the spread is at Carolina's favor, -3. I'm going to have Carolina covering the spread and winning the game 21-17. Moving on, Packers at the Jaguars. The Jaguars are actually going to keep this a close game, I predict. The Packers aren't the best team on the road. We've seen that last year. We've seen that the year before that. They're not a good team on the road, and they're not the same team we see that play at Lambeau. So I'm going to have this being a closer game. The spread is set at Green Bay's favor at 4.5, but I'm going to have Jacksonville covering the spread plus 4.5. But the Packers still win 24-20. So I have the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 4.5. Moving on. The Bills at the Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 3. I'm going to have them winning by 3. Covering the spread, 23-14. And I don't think the Bills are going to be as good as the years before. Not that they were any good anyway, but I just don't. And I think the Ravens are getting better if they don't, they re-signed Justin Forsett. Why did they cut him? I know they gave an explanation, but I didn't even read it. But yeah, they're not going to be as injury plagued that they were last year. They did have problems besides the injuries, but I think Ravens are a consistent playoff team, so we'll see what happens with the Ravens. But I predict them beating up on the Bills 23-14. Moving on, the Bears at the Texans. Houston is actually favored by 6.5, so the bet makers are pretty confident in the Texans right now. which they should be. I think the Texans are going to be a great team, not a super team or anything like that, but I just think they're going to be a better team than they were the years before. They have a somewhat decent quarterback in Brock Osweiler. I know he was an average quarterback at the Broncos, but I predict them to beat up on the Bears 31-17. Houston covering the spread of 6.5. Moving on, the Browns at the Eagles. Now, it's so funny to me how a lot of people are thinking the Browns are going to beat the Eagles. Like, that is how trash the Eagles are this year. Everybody is thinking the Browns are going to beat the Eagles. Like, that's hilarious to me. And it's an actual valuable, like, argument. Like, you could argue that. But I'm just, as much as I hate the Eagles, I'm not going to be that kind of guy. I never am in my predictions. I'm not biased in my predictions. I'm going to have the Eagles coming out with the win 23-21. However, even though Philadelphia is favored by 4, I'm going to have Cleveland covering that spread +4. Now, my upset pick of the week. We've got the Buccaneers at the Falcons. How on earth are the Falcons favored? This makes no sense. If the Falcons win this, I'll be surprised. But we're talking about the Falcons being favored here. What have the Falcons done in the offseason to really improve on their team that the Buccaneers didn't do? The Buccaneers are looking very, very good right now. I'm talking about a dark horse to make the playoffs. So, I'm talking about a 9-7, 10-6 kind of team. So, with all that being said, Atlanta's favored by 3, but I'm going to have Tampa Bay covering the spread and winning the game 26-17. All their points are going to come, 3 of their points are going to come from their kicker. Those 2 touchdowns are going to come from Julio Jones, and that's it. Now my game to watch have storylines in them. We have the Vikings at the Titans. Gio versus Keith Bailey. So, let's get into this game. The Vikings have a storyline here. Can they win with Sam Bradford? I don't know, quite frankly. So, we'll see about that. Titans, their storyline. Now, they've been a below average team for quite some time now. But they have a franchise quarterback. They're making some moves on their defense, not too much, but they are making some noise. They're making some noise in their running game. They've got a great 1-2 punch in DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, 2 talented players. Their wide receivers, they're not that good, but they're not that bad. You've got your 5th round draft pick, Tajay Sharp, really making some noise, and a lot of people are saying he might be a 1,000 yard receiver this year. So we got some storylines there. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be what I like to call a guinea pig game. We'll see how the Vikings play out against the Titans. This is going to be a great matchup for the Vikings to test their ability to win without Teddy Bridgewater. So, for right now, I'm going to have the Vikings winning this game 24-13. This will be a guinea pig game. If they lose this game to the Titans, the Vikings will just be a bad team this year. Not saying the Titans aren't talented. I'm just saying, they're not going to be able to win with Sam Bradford. So, Minnesota will be covering the spread of 2. Moving on, the Bengals at the Jets. The Bengals are favored by 2.5. I will have them covering the spread and winning the game 23-20. Moving on, my first lock of the week. We've got the Raiders at the Saints. The Raiders are on the road at the Saints. I don't think the Raiders are that much of a great away team, but I think the Raiders are primed to win something, and I think this is the year that they get far, and they get, this is the building year, I don't know how to explain it. This is the year that they're just going to make some noise. They're not going to go too far, but they're going to make some noise, if you guys can catch my drift. So I think the Raiders are just going to beat up on the Saints. I'm talking 31-10. I know it's pretty bold of me. We're talking about the Oakland Raiders here going against Drew Brees. But 31-10 is my prediction. I think their secondary is pretty solid. I think their front four is pretty solid. The only thing is that their linebackers are pretty weak. So, and that's excluding a Khalil Mack. I consider him a defensive end more than a linebacker. So I have the Raiders locked up to win 31-10. The New Orleans Saints are actually favored by 1, which makes no sense to me. Maybe because they're the home team, but I have Oakland covering the spread +1. Chargers at the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning the game 31-13. Kansas City covers the spread of 7. Kansas City -7. My second lock of the week, Dolphins travel to Seattle at CenturyLink. 38-10 is my prediction. Seahawks win and cover the spread of 10.5. Moving on. My Giants against the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Dallas. This is where we get our revenge, guys. This is where we get our revenge. The game that we should have won week 1 last year, we're going to win this year. Believe it or not, this is my third lock of the week. The Giants will come out victorious against the Dallas Cowboys. We're going against Dak Prescott. We're going against a bunch of players that aren't going to be there because they're suspended or injured. So, I have the Giants winning 27-17. This game is a pick'em game, and you just pick the Giants to win, and you should win that spread. Moving on, the Lions at the Colts. I have the Colts winning 24-17. It's going to be a close game, but I just don't know how the Lions are going to score without Calvin Johnson because their running game is probably one of the worst in the league. So, yeah, I just don't see. Maybe Golden Tate, he's probably their star player on their whole team with their defense, and Ezekiel Ansah. But, yeah, I got the Colts winning 24-17. I don't know where the 17 is going to come from, but it's going to come from somewhere. Indianapolis covers a spread of 3.5. Moving on, my game of the week, the Patriots at the Cardinals. Tom Brady excluded. I still think this is going to be a great game. I still think it's going to be one of those old school football games, classic football games with the Cardinals and the Patriots, 2 playoff teams that you could see in the Super Bowl. So, I'm going to have the Cardinals winning the game 26-21. But with the spread of 6, Arizona is favored by 6, I'm going to have New England covering the spread +6. I think the Cardinals defense is really going to put in some work. I think maybe the Cardinals offense will start off a little slow. I know they're scoring 26 points, but they could score much more than that. They've been shredding the league at the last 2 years when it comes to, the margin of scoring with their play on offense and defense. But Jimmy Garoppolo we're not talking about a regular backup. Jimmy Garoppolo could be an eventual starter in this league. I just think he's not a Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be close still, 26-21. That's my game of the week. Monday Night Football, Steelers at the Redskins. I think the Redskins, I don't think they're a bad team as far as their offense goes. I think they're actually a pretty good team offensively. Minus Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's that good, guys. Seriously. I don't think he's that good. He's thrown a pick in every game he's played against the Giants. Multiple. So I think the Steelers are going to come out with the win. Redskins start off slow. I don't think they're going to be a super bad team this year. I know I predicted them to go 3-13 this year. But, yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I think that we'll stick with that. 24-13 is the final score. Pittsburgh covers a spread of 3. The Rams at the 49ers to sum up this whole week of NFL football. The Los Angeles Rams are favored by 2.5. I'll have them covering the spread at 2.5, and I'll have the Rams winning 21-7. I think it's going to be a boring game in my opinion. 2 below-average teams going against each other. So that's going to wrap up this week of prediction, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I usually do power rankings, and you'll usually see them in the description. I usually don't go over it because it takes too much time. But I usually keep them in the description. I won't have them this week, guys. I'm sorry. I don't I don't want to put a preseason power ranking. A lot of people do that, but I don't want to. I just don't have enough evidence yet as far as ranking teams. So, I mean, and it just takes too much work, and I just want to be completely accurate with my power ranking. So I'm just going to wait till week 2. Week 2, you guys should see that in the description below. Every single week, all 32 teams. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Go Giants.